Hey Dirt Magicians! Today we're going to be talking about a plant that I can almost guarantee is growing in your yard and yet you've never thought to eat her. And this lady you can eat from flower all the way to the root, and she is Dandelion. In today's video, I'll share the really fun and interesting history of the dandelion, how to identify her, and then how to harvest her from flower to roots. She's incredibly nutritious and has lots of medicinal properties, so is really worth the harvest. Then we'll head back to my kitchen where we will make a flower vinegar. We will make a stir fry with the leaves with zucchini and mushrooms, and we will roast the roots. Just a quick note, if you're new to our YouTube channel, our mission on DirtMagicians is to help you learn from other gardeners by peeking over the garden fence. So let us help you peek over the garden fence. Today we are in Trisha's yard, one of our fellow Dirt Magicians, and before we go hunting for the elusive dandelion, I just want to chat about what a weed is. A weed literally means a plant in a location that is unwanted. While it's true there are some plants that can be incredibly invasive, toxic, etc., there are actually also many plants that we consider weeds that are actually medicine and food. We are going to be doing a whole series on backyard edible medicinal weeds, and today is day one where we talk all about Dandelion! So come with me and let's go find one. We found one! The dandelion in the lawn has been found! Thanks to this amazing book, Teeth of the Lion by Anita Sanchez, we discovered the incredible history of the dandelion. It's actually been used as a food and medicine for thousands of years by the Greeks, the Romans, the Chinese, the Egyptians. It's amazing how historically relevant this plant has been. Like many weeds, dandelions colonize disturbed sites. How convenient, where humans are, weeds and dandelions that are edible are right there for us. What a great thing for a gardener to have a food that just grows by accident when you're gardening. She is also amazing as her deep taproots help with compacted soil and breaking it up, and they allow water to infiltrate deep into the soil, reducing runoff and also increasing the amount of water in our soils. She was such an important food and medicine that she was actually brought over by European colonizers on a ship known as the Mayflower for you history buffs. And in fact, people used to actually weed out the grass around the dandelion to keep the dandelion nice and big. And she would be submitted into county fairs, and people would win prize dandelion. And then somewhere in the 20th century, lawns became this new, perfect, pristine aesthetic, and dandelions became this weed that we no longer wanted. All right, let's chat about how we can identify the dandelion and what needs to be on one's stomach when doing this. So, for the dandelion, she's got irregular lobed leaves. She's got a very deep taproot, which obviously we can't see right now. Her stems are hollow in the middle, and she's got this beautiful yellow flower. And apparently, now I've not actually tested this fun fact, but she opens in the morning and closes at night, or is closed on a cloudy day. Check it for yourself and see if that's true. Two more fun facts about her name. She's also called the Dandelioness, the fairy clock, I don't know why, and the puffball. And the name dandelion actually comes from the French word Dandelion, which means tooth of the lion. Rawr! Because we want to harvest a lot, we've actually come to another location where we can find a lot more dandelion. So let's get harvesting. For the flowers, I just really want them nice and yellow like this, and you just pinch right below the bulb. And that's it. For the roots, we want to get down as deep as possible so that we get as much of the root. They can go up to 1 meter. I've never dug up one that big, and it's just a lot easier to do with a big shovel than a little trowel. So we got a nice chunk of root, but as you can see, it definitely ripped. It's quite hard to get them down deep, so we'll need a lot of these. And for dandelion leaves, we want them young, so actually even before they flowered. So I found this nice, sweet little girl that has not flowered yet, and she's got very tender shoots. If we get them older, that's going to be incredibly bitter. So I just ripped them at the bottom. Hey, welcome to my kitchen where we're going to prepare everything we just harvested. So I've got 3 different recipes for you. One that's going to be with our dandelion roots. We're going to roast those with carrots. We're going to make a stir fry with our delicious dandelion greens. And we're going to make a vinegar with the dandelion flowers. So I'm going to be totally honest, this was not worth it. The amount of time it took to harvest this amount of root, and then the cleaning took so much time, and you want to peel it, but you don't want to peel too much because you're gonna just like end up with nothing. So in all honesty, I probably would not do this again. However, last year I did harvest some root because there's some really good medicinal health benefits to it, which we'll talk about later. And I made a tincture. So this I just put in small amounts and I can use it for a lot longer. And so it's way more worth it to me because of just how much work it was to find enough dandelion root and then to clean it and then to roast it. So just being totally transparent, we're going to do this with carrots, but it was so much work, I wouldn't do it again. So to make this roasted dandelion and carrot mixture, I've already pre-cut my carrots here so they're ready to go, and the oven has been set to 350. So we're just gonna chop these dandelion roots in half, mix them in a tray, and then that's all gonna go into the oven. While we're waiting for our carrot and dandelion root to roast, we're going to start making the dandelion leaf stir fry. A lot of purist herbalists talk about how delicious this is in salad and those pure benefits that you get from it, but in all honesty, they're really bitter greens. And I personally, I've tried to be that herbal mama that's like, dandelion greens, and they're so bitter. But once you stir fry them up with, sauces and other veggies, that goes away, but then I still get those tasty health benefits from it. So we're gonna chop this up. I'm gonna pretend it's almost like spinach, so chopping it up like I would a spinach. And then we're gonna be stir frying that with onion and garlic and oyster mushrooms and zucchini, and then 2 of my favorite sauces to stir fry, teriyaki and hoisin. Teriyaki adds a really nice kind of smoky sourness to it, and then that hoisin balances that with a really nice sweetness, which I love so much. All right, so for my base, I'm using butter because for me, greens and butter just go together like forks go with knives. I don't know, what's the normal saying you would do? So I'll melt the butter, and then I always add my onion and garlic first at a really low temperature to kind of caramelize. So while that's slowly cooking, we'll chop up the dandelion greens here. Bite-sized pieces, all for Brianna's tummy. All right, next we will add our beautifully cut mushrooms in, as those take a little bit of time to cook. And again, you don't have to focus. Now that the mushrooms have cooked down nicely, I'm just gonna add a little bit of salt for them to kind of take in that flavor. And then we can add the zucchini and dandelion. So fun fact while we're waiting for this to cook, dandelion is actually part of the lettuce family, although I don't think it tastes that much like lettuce. So while we're waiting for this to fully cook, we'll make our vinegar. All you need for this are flowers, which I've already kind of pre-washed. And honestly, I would definitely make this again. It's so easy to just pick flowers, but I wanted to make sure I didn't pick any near roadsides or where dogs had peed. So just make sure you check on that one. All we need is a mason jar, apple cider vinegar, and our dandelion flowers. So we'll pour the apple cider vinegar in here, and I don't want to fill it to the top just because the vinegar can kind of corrode some of those metal pieces. So that's perfect. And then I pluck off the stems from my dandelion flowers and just boop them in. Boop is the technical cooking term for this. And then I'll stir it in. Seal it. She's so pretty. So these flowers are really high in vitamin D, which is great for my immune system. So I will use this in a month, mostly in salad dressings, or if I'm feeling sick, I'll take a little shot of apple cider vinegar with this dandelion infusion. It needs to be stored in a cool, dark place so that it doesn't go bad, so I'll just put it here in my kitchen counter. This is looking almost ready, so I'm going to add my hoisin. So sweet and delicious. And some teriyaki, which gives it a little like sweet sour smell. Yum, yum, yum. And mix that in. So let's see how our root veggies are doing. Oh yeah, I think they're ready to be eaten. Now I have my very healthy dandelion filled meal. So this here is our stir fry. Doesn't she look so tasty? And dandelion leaves are actually really high in vitamin C and calcium, so also good for my immunity. And look at these tasty TBD roots along with the carrots. Dandelion root's really interesting. It's really high in inulin, which is great for gut bacteria, and all parts of the dandelion are really high actually in electrolytes, especially potassium, which is really good for lowering blood pressure. So I'm doing like a super meal right now. I'm really curious about this dandelion root. Yeah, so it's a bit bitter. Probably maybe cooking it a little bit longer would help, but it's totally worth still eating. There's actually a really interesting project being done by the University of Windsor, and they found that at least in petri dishes that dandelion root is killing cancer cells while leaving healthy cells alive. So they've continued to do this research and are investigating whether or not dandelion root extracts could actually help with cancer therapies. This is why I have my beautiful tincture that I made last year. So I soaked dandelion root and leaves and flowers in an alcohol for a month, and then I just take this tincture and I get all of those kind of health benefits while not having to eat sort of bitter dandelion root all the time. Well, Dirt Magicians, that's the end of our video, and I'm going to enjoy my very healthy, tasty meal. If you learned something from our video today and you liked what we made, it would be dandy if you subscribed and liked it, as it helps up and coming content creators like us. Also, below we have a freebie that includes all the health benefits we talked about dandelion, plus more health benefits, and a new fun recipe that's a mystery until you download it.